smoked everybody. And then look what they are this year. They're what, like third?
I think that goes to show. I think that the EPL is top heavy for sure. How far do we say EPL goes? Because I don't like Manchester United. They're not good. I don't like Chelsea,
so
even though they got
like the top six, right? So it's Chelsea, Arsenal, Man U, Liverpool, Tottenham, and what did I miss?
But did you get City? Did you say City?
It's United, City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham.
That's it.
So, but there's one other team that's thrown in there.
Who?
There's 6 teams that are at the top.
Who was good recently? The Wolves or something like that.
No, Wolves is a mid-tier.
That's mid-tier. Leicester. How did Leicester win EPL?
That's what I'm saying, though. Like you don't have teams like that winning. Like you don't have teams like that winning the league in other countries.
Because you know why? You know, everybody on the Left Hand Labs podcast, you know who I like. Forza Juve, Fino Alafini. Mm-hmm. We are on like 9 in a row. I think we aiming for 10 this year in a row, and it's not because the Serie A is weak, as some people people say the Serie A is weak, right? Okay. Yeah. Look at the Champions League final 4 or 6. The past maybe 5-6 years. Roma was in the semifinal. Yeah. I don't know if you remember that.
I remember
Roma
that.
was in the semifinal. Atalanta was destroying everybody. Yeah. With
Milan is always
Milan.
Recently.
No. Napoli is always in the top. Is probably top 4 in Champions League. This is not by mistake. It's because Italy is strong, and the quality of football there is strong. It's much stronger than every place else, in my opinion. I'm not a fan of EPL. Everybody knows this. Mm-hmm. I just don't agree with the notion that it's so physical, it's so this, it's so that. Because every big EPL player, like Hazard, for example, what has he done for Real Madrid?
Yeah, nothing.
I told everyone.
Look at Gareth Bale.
Bale.
He did win a lot. He won a lot at Madrid. But
now they got him from Tottenham, right?
Yes, he's now back there.
He's back. Oh, he's back.
Yeah, he's back.
I didn't know that.
So what happened was he went to Real Madrid and he was lighting it up. Like they won like 10 trophies,
they lit it up. They lit it up.
So but then he had a contract, or not a contract dispute, but
Zidane didn't like him or something like that.
He was getting hurt a bunch.
Oh, he was getting hurt.
Injury prone.
Okay.
What ended up happening was Zidane had to make a team without him.
Oh, yeah.
Where it was like, all right, how are we going to win games without Bale? And that team killed it.
So and James.
And then
he did James dirty too.
Yeah, James was. But the same thing happened with him too. But when Bale came back, there was nowhere to put him because the team that they had established was already doing so well. They're already doing so well. So now he's just sitting at Madrid for like the last season and a half, 2 seasons.
Just sitting.
And so then he left back for Tottenham, and I don't really know what he's doing there now. I mean, he still has to get acclimated to the squad. He's gotten some playing minutes, but he hasn't been doing anything crazy. He's not anything like before he left.
Yeah. So
back in like what, 2012? Or not 12, but 12.
I was mad long ago. I wasn't even watching soccer then, but I know he was there.
But back to what you were saying about Italy, the problem isn't that Italy's weak. I think to frame it like that would be just disrespectful to any league.
That's what they do. People tell me, you like Juve. Oh, Italy's so weak. Serie A is so weak. It's wrong. You're wrong. It's not true.
But I think the operative word is balance. The balance of power, especially in Germany, in France, in Spain, and in Italy.
All the top leagues
is messed up. I mean, what? So Juve's about to go for 10. Bayern is going for 9 in a row this season. It's close now in Germany. It's very close, but they're still aiming to go for 9 in a row. And then what? How many have PSG won of the last 20 years?
That's true, but this. I think it's because it's not discredit to the leagues. It's just that the top teams are so good. Yeah. They're the best teams in the world. Yeah. It's simply put.
But that's what makes the EPL very entertaining for certain people.
Yeah.
Is that you don't have that decade-long run where it's like, all right, well, we know that PSG is going to win the league again.
Okay, now I got a question for you.
All right.
If PSG right now was in EPL, where would they finish?
I mean, I say they get a Champions League spot. I say they're
Wait.
Like
a Champions League spot.
I listen. You got to look at where the teams are placed. I mean, like any given year in the EPL, you have a team like Liverpool who puts up way more than 100 points.
Okay.
I think that PSG any given year is definitely doing 80 points, but I think they're going to struggle every year to put up 90 points.
Okay, so maybe all right. So
I think
this is PSG. This is PSG. Yeah. I think PSG is winning EPL. Juve, we would destroy EPL. We would light EPL on fire. We would. It would be so easy.
You see these matchups happen in the Champions League, and it's not like that though. It's not like that.
No,
it's
for
not
us,
like that, bro. No.
Whenever we play somebody from the EPL. We washed them up in the Champions League.
PSG, bro. Like,
PSG, no, not PSG. I don't like PSG.
PSG doesn't do well in
PSG is not. That was the wrong team. PSG is not like a powerhouse. They never win Champions League. Let's say Barcelona a couple years ago because they're trash now. Yeah, they're trash now.
Right
Barcelona
now,
is trash now. Prime Barcelona or Prime Madrid. They don't win EPL.
Oh, of course they'll win. Of course they have an opportunity to win.
No. Okay, opportunity or they win.
That's the thing though. It's any given year. So like I can't sit here and say like, oh yeah, they would absolutely win on this given year. I think that if you put Barcelona or if you put Madrid or if you put Juventus in the EPL for 5 years, yes, they're winning. Mm-hmm. They're gonna win. Like that's just how it works.
Okay.
But that's the thing about the EPL. It's not. They're not gonna. If you put Juve in the EPL, they're not gonna dominate the same way that they do in Italy. I don't think they will.
All right,
bro. Leicester City just won. The Leicester City won like 5 years
ago. That is my whole point. How?
But it's because they're good.
Look, Leicester won EPL, right?
Yes.
Fiorentina would never win Serie A. Never. It would just never happen.
So are you saying that is it because Leicester is...
It's because the teams at the top are so good that it will just be impossible. Mm-hmm. That is my case for EPL. How can that... If EPL was so strong, how can a team that... They just got promoted to EPL to the top. They were in League One, EPL League One, or whatever it's called.
The championship, yeah.
They were in the championship because I play FIFA. I always grab a bottom team. Like I'll get the Blackburn Rovers.
You mean the only way to play? Like,
that's the only way to play. That's the only way to play FIFA. Like but it is the only way to play. But they need to add some more stuff to
you gotta play Football Manager.
Football Manager?
Football Manager is like basically take like fantasy mixed with like manager mode in FIFA.
Is it a game?
Yeah,
or like
it's a game. So it's a computer game, but it's like it's more like a simulator.
Okay,
so you get to like the attention to detail and the amount of decisions you can make and all the things that you can do are like real manager stuff. So like you send scouts out, like but you have no control over the play. It's like it just runs like a simulation with a result.
I like doing that though.
So like for like if you're a hardcore like career mode guy, or like you like playing like the manager, like being the boss and making those decisions, it's called Football Manager, and they release a game every year. Like that's what like the hardcore soccer fans play.
Never know about that. See, I'm the type. I just gave up my FIFA 20 career mode. I'm like 9 years deep with
9 seasons.
Because the games in FIFA go quick.
Yeah. Well, do you play the games?
I play every game.
Okay.
I play every game.
FIFA
is quick. Yeah. And I'll get rid of everybody. I'll sell everybody and just go with all youth players and just build them up. Yeah. That's what I'll do. But the games are quick. But in like Madden or something like that, I sim. I like having the stats be normalized, like be the same as the other players. I want it to be realistic of the other team. So I'll start a franchise mode and I put it on 15-minute quarters. I'll play the first quarter. Then I'll sim the next two or play key moments or something like that. Mm-hmm. And then I'll jump in on the fourth if it's like a one-possession game or something like that. If not, I just sim.
You got to take the sticks over yourself.
Right? That's the only way to play franchise mode. But I think franchise mode is lacking in every sports, but except 2K. 2K's franchise mode is good. I like 2K.
Well, 2K also has done the most in terms of their play, like be a player mode. Where they try to actually make it cinematic, which... Yeah. NHL was actually the first game to do that.
Be a promo,
which is really what people like. Which is what drew me to like be a pro.
Yeah.
Whereas like you could like hop in and like live those moments. You can get really immersed in it.
Yeah.
So NHL was like the first to do that. Where like you had like the little moments, like you driving to the stadium.
Oh,
doing
for real?
interviews. NHL was one of the
Oh,
first.
I didn't know that. Oh, that's
then 2K
crazy.
followed up where they start actually having like a story mode where you're like, all right, I'm gonna be, you start out in like I don't know. There's different stories, but you start in college or high school, and you get to actually play through
you work
that.
your way up. Yeah.
Also, another real quickly on that. I don't know if you remember. Did you play the old NCAA football games?
NCAA 14. I'm not embarrassed to say this. I go on YouTube and I watch people do like Road to Glory modes where they'll take a team and recruit new people in and try to make it the team a powerhouse. Mm-hmm. We're missing stuff like that. I think it was 14. Is it NCAA 14?
It was 13 or 14. What you could do in that game, you made a player, right? You graduated them through college, and if you went through that career mode, if you got the if you got the corresponding Madden game, you can import that player with like those attributes that you earned in NCAA and play him through. Yeah, which is like one of the most innovative things that I've seen in terms.
Oh
of
I used to do that back in the day. All the NCAA football games I used to get those. Madden always came out in August, and NCAA football always came out in like June, I think. And so I would try to get my dad to take me to GameStop, and I would have to like trade in every game I had to get the new NCAA, and I would play that for 2 months. Would play the career mode or whatever, and then when Madden came, it was time for Madden. Yeah. But all that is lacking. Yeah. Now I have PS5. Do you have how has your journey to next gen been?
So I haven't gotten the next gen console yet. I'm an Xbox guy. Oh, and no. listen.
My
I just got a disclaimer. The new PlayStation is by far a better machine. Okay. The PlayStation 4 was a better machine.
Oh, okay.
Xbox really fumbled the bag with their launch and their release.
So how are you proudly an Xbox guy?
I'm an Xbox. I've had all 3 and going to be all 4 generations of Xbox. I've had the same gamer tag since like 2006.
So what you're telling me is you gonna try to get an Xbox. What was it? X?
The Series X. Listen. It's brand loyalty, bro. I have nothing against PlayStation. PlayStations are better machines. I've played on PlayStations. The interface, I love it. The graphics, the way they run, the plug and play. Like. I'm a big fan of all of it. The only downside is that's not where I started. All my friends had Xboxes.
Listen.
So I've had my same Xbox account. I've had the same gamer tag. All my games are on there. I can play backwards compatibility with all my old games. Like there's just. And also, here's the other thing. As a gamer, it's not like I have a crazy setup to where the small differences in performance are gonna kill me. Okay. You know, like if we're really talking like brass tacks here, I'm not playing on like a crazy monitor. Yeah. You know, like my setup isn't super ridiculous. I'm just HDMI into my TV. Yeah. So the performance differences aren't super noticeable for my setup. Okay. If you were like really trying to optimize your setup and you're trying to go really hard and you've got like a 4K monitor and you've got a whole bunch of other steps to optimize your setup, I would probably have a PlayStation because this is a better machine. But for me personally, all I'm looking at now is like, which one of these do I want? I want the Xbox, and even though PlayStation has better
single player games,
it has better console exclusives. Yes, like it has better cool factor. Like I'm on there. I just got to stick with what I know.
All right, now I'm gonna give you some helpful advice. All right, now I started Sega. That was my first. Then PlayStation 1. So my first real system that I poured hours of my life into as maybe 8, 9 years old, PS1. That was it. I started off Sony, right? Yeah. PS2 came out. Same thing. Now, friends have had Xbox. Xbox was cool. You had Halo. You had some different kind of things.
The Xbox 360, like, that was clearly the better console.
Now, Xbox 360, we went from PlayStation 2, everybody had Xbox 360. It was over for PS3. Yeah. We didn't want PS3, especially after they stopped making them backwards compatible. It was like, all right, we rolling with Xbox 360. I had Xbox 360 for the life of the console. I had like 3 cases of the Red Rings of Death, All of that.
Everybody.
All of that.
Stories, bro.
Exactly.
That's why that console was so great.
Played Modern Warfare 2 till my hands hurt.
Oh, man. Spent them hours yelling over the mic at them.
Everything. Racist kids and all that on Xbox. All of that. But then PS4 and Xbox One were announced, right? Mm-hmm. And now I think at this time I got rid of my Xbox and got my Xbox 360 and got a PS3. Mm-hmm. I think I did at that time, just because. I don't know why. I just wanted to. Wanted to play. Was Mass Effect on both?
I can't remember. I didn't play Mass Effect.
You didn't play. You gotta play Mass Effect.
Yeah, I remember, bro. I'm younger than you, so like
you are younger than me.
So like I was just getting into multiplayer games.
Go get Mass Effect, the trilogy.
Okay.
Do that now. If you have Xbox, you could play back. You could Xbox
backwards compatible
on One X and all that, right?
Yep.
So that you could probably go get the Mass Effect trilogy.
Okay.
It's single player game, but it's probably one of the best series ever.
Okay. 1
and 2 especially. 3, I always go from 1. Everything carries over, and all the decisions you make, whatever. And I go through 1, I go through 2, and then I'm burnt out by the time I get to 3 and don't finish it. So I got to finish 3 one day, but I'm telling you.
Okay.
But so I'm looking at the trailer for NBA 2K14. This is in the middle of the night, like 2:00 in the morning. And I said, oh no, I got to get one of these next-gen consoles. And the PS4 just so happened to be the one coming out first.
Also, it's cheaper at that time.
It was cheaper too?
Mm-hmm.
So
PS4 has usually been cheaper.
Okay.
Or PlayStations have usually been cheaper than Xbox.
Okay, so I said, you know what? I got dressed. This is 2:30 in the morning. I got dressed. I went to Walmart. I said, excuse me, I'm trying to pre-order this PlayStation 4. They said, you got to come back the next day. We can't do pre-orders right now. And I came back the next day, got my pre-order, went and picked it up at release date. Look, it is what it is. All my friends had Xbox, whatever. At that time, mm-hmm. I just had to get my hands on what I could get my hands on. And whatever happened. You'll make new friends that have the other system. Save yourself from Xbox. This PS5 is the best thing ever. The best system ever. Now, I optimized my get up. I got an OLED up to TV that can go up to 8K. It has a HDMI 2.1. Get a Samsung OLED TV. Mm-hmm. Playing the game on this is like the frame rate. You could pick either 100 to play at 120, or you could pick to keep it performance mode or I forgot the other mode where it looks pretty. Basically, you could pick which one you want to do. It's the best thing that can happen to your video game playing experience. And I'm telling you, now I think it's coming to the point where games are going to be cross-platform.
I mean, most of the big games that people are playing now are...
You play Warzone?
Yeah, of course I play Warzone.
Okay, we play Warzone heavy. And you could play with people on Xbox.
Yes.
And PC. So...
I mean, now, I'm older now. Like, all the people that I knew back then, it doesn't... Like, I'm not really, like having scheduled play sessions.
Okay.
But the only people that I do that with have Xboxes. So we've run old zombies, like old COD zombies, like original Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2 zombies
mm-hmm.
runs.
Mm-hmm.
And so but all that we can backwards compatible on the Xbox.
Yeah.
And so those moments for me are like
that's priceless.
What I have right now.
Yeah, that's priceless. Stuff like that I can understand.
So here's the thing, right? There's two things I have with this. One, I totally get. I will absolutely give you that your gaming experience will most likely be better on a PlayStation.
Oh my goodness.
But here's the other thing, right? To me, we lived through the console wars. Console wars. It was goofy. It was stupid.
Yeah.
But it was still that moment where you were in middle school or high school and you have these arguments about which console was better, and you had to pick the right console, or else you're going to be the odd man left out.
You had to
when stuff went down with a certain game.
Yeah.
So for me, the Xbox is emotional. That was my first video game. I played Xbox with my dad. I was sitting in his lap, but I would hold the control and he would hold it on top and move it while I shot the triggers. It was it's stuff like that. So it's emotional. It's like a sports team to me now.
Hearing that, one, makes me feel old as hell. He said Xbox when he was young. Yes. He was playing Xbox where he was young enough where he had to sit on his dad's lap. That is I had to, when I was my first video game experience, my dad and them was playing the Atari. And Sega Genesis. He said Xbox. I was out buying Xbox games by myself. Yo, that is crazy. You made me feel mad old right now. But I can understand though. But I can understand. That makes sense.
And so
that makes sense.
It's like a sports team, right? Yeah. So like if you're a fan of your team when you're young and you grow older and you're like, you know what, this team's not good. Like
can't change though.
They're bums, but you can't change. You can't change. You can't switch. Like it's like an honor thing, right? Like you gotta stick with it.
That's a part of being a man.
And then here's the other thing, right? For me, like I like the idea of identifying problems and then coming up with solutions. Okay. So my investment in Xbox is mostly out of an interest in the way they've done their business.
Okay.
Seeing a business like, especially one that's so consumer driven as video games as a media company, seeing them especially one where the competition's really only between like 2, 3, 4 different companies, and watching the ebb and flow of competition is interesting. So seeing the mistakes Xbox made, I'm hoping that they get it together and they fix it, right? Because the big problem with the Xbox One is that they didn't focus on the most important thing that any console needed to do, which is make the video game experience better. Yeah. They were focused on being, I think if you watch, there's like super cuts of the announcement at E3. Okay. And they mentioned the name television, as in like television set or cable, like an astronomical amount of times. They were focused on the Kinect, which you had to use in the beginning.
You had to use the Kinect?
In the very beginning, you had to have a Kinect for the Xbox to run.
For Xbox One?
Yes. People don't remember that.
I didn't know that.
Kinect. They changed it because people were like, what is this?
Yeah, what?
So you had to have a Kinect at one point, right? Then there were problems with, they were like, oh, well, you can connect your cable box into it, which is cool.
You could? I didn't even know you could.
So you can connect your cable box into it and then control the cable with your Xbox controller. And you can go back and forth. Okay. And you can also split screen. So you can have a game in the 70%, like the left 70% of the screen, and then have TV up in the right. Okay. And it would import the channel guide into it. So it was cool. But none of those things made playing
they don't matter.
Video games better.
Clearly, I understand what they were doing. They wanted to integrate the Xbox into
that was how they thought they were going to make it better than PlayStation. They were going to make it it was an entertainment, an integrated entertainment system.
Yeah, there you go.
But the problem was they focused so heavily on that they let PlayStation be a better video game console.
Because that's what's important.
They had better games at launch. Like it pains me to this day that I can never play Last of Us. I could never play Last of Us natively. I would have to like either buy a PlayStation or go play it somewhere else. Yeah. What's the name of it? God of War. There's another one. It's like the international spy game. I forget what it is. Uncharted.
Drake.
Uncharted.
Yeah.
So like I can't play the Spider-Man games.
Those are only for PlayStation?
Yes.
I did not know that.
Because that's been a Sony property for a while.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So the problem is, and you see what's happening, where even PlayStation got a Travis Scott collab.
Yeah, they did.
PlayStation's killing it in terms of reaching their consumer base. There's a reason that all like the hood memes you see, they talk about getting the PS5.
That's all they talk about.
Because that's the cool console right now.
It is.
So the interesting thing is, how can Xbox become the cool console again? Xbox was a cool console because the multiplayer scene was cutthroat.
For 360. That was it. It was multiplayer.
It was multiplayer because you had Halo multiplayer and you had that
Call of Duty.
Prime Call of Duty. Where it was Black Ops 1,
Modern Warfare 2,
and Modern Warfare 2. Modern Warfare 3 was in there too, but that was like the heart of multiplayer gaming. If you weren't playing those 3 games, like, you weren't cool.
You weren't. You missed out on a lot.
Not only that, not many people remember this, but for FIFA and for Call of Duty, you would get the exclusives on Xbox. So on FIFA, when they released the Legends, that was only on Xbox.
That was only Xbox.
On Xbox, you would get the DLC. You would get all of them like 2 weeks early on Xbox. Yeah, that's true. Xbox had the right idea, and PlayStation just stole it from them. PlayStation just took everything that Xbox did in the 360 days, and then they just did it better now. And Xbox was like, all right, that's cool. They just let it happen.
Now, I hear what you're saying, and I agree with a lot of what you're saying. But don't get the Xbox One X or whatever. Get the PS5. But how do you feel about Ultimate Team? These Ultimate Team based modes in FIFA, Madden.
Right. So I have a confession. I am a recovering Ultimate Team addict.
I was too.
I put so much money into that game.
Oh yeah.
So much time, so much sweat. I would just stand up from the couch and I would just have a print from how hard I tried at that game. And I got pretty good too. I got into Division 1 in Ultimate Team.
Okay.
So FIFA Ultimate Team is still, to me, the only viable Ultimate Team option.
Okay.
Because they were really the people that started. Ultimate Team started in, I think, FIFA 12.
Yeah.
And they've knocked it out the park. Recently, it's gotten super complex, and I haven't played it personally just because, it was a lot. I played it a lot when I was in high school.
Okay.
But FIFA really set the stage for all these Ultimate Teams, and I feel like these other Ultimate Teams really just kind of they don't capture the essence of what FIFA did.
Okay. And
I feel like what happened with Madden and what's kind of happening with 2K and all these other sports is that they make it almost too arcadey. Mm-hmm. There's a certain simplicity to how FIFA does their Ultimate Team.
Okay.
That still captures the realistic aspect of the game.
Okay.
It's really hard to describe, but there's just something right about FIFA Ultimate Team.
Okay.
And I think that's shown in the fact that it's the most played game mode pretty much of FIFA since 2013.
Now, I think Ultimate Team is the worst thing that ever happened in video games.
You're not wrong.
The worst thing that ever happened in video games.
Because that was what started microtransactions.
Exactly. That's where I was going.
Ultimate Team was the start of microtransactions.
That's where I was going.
They did it. So FIFA started it with EA.
Yeah.
Every other sports game did it. And then I remember where microtransactions started in Call of Duty. It was Advanced Warfare. Because that was the first.
That was my favorite one, though. I'm not going to lie. I love Advanced Warfare. Advanced Warfare was fire.
I've been telling people this.
Oh, it was
people
so fire.
Oh,
my. I didn't even buy the supply boxes. I just let them come
I
to me.
didn't.
I just let them come to me.
So real quickly, and then we'll jump into why Advanced Warfare is one of the best Call of Duty.
Easily.
So the problem was that they made so much money off of microtransactions.
They make $1 billion a year alone.
Much money.
Just like you said, you're recovering. And this is Madden and FIFA. I've spent. Oh, it's embarrassing the amount of money you spend.
And you only realize it when you think back 2 years later.
Yo,
I was really spending $20 and $40 every 2 weeks. And it's gone.
And it's gone.
It's gone.
You're not using anything from it. Yeah, most of the time you don't pull anything.
Nothing.
And then you don't get that money back.
No.
It's all gone.
No.
Ultimate Team is destroying video games or sports games. 1. 2, I think that is gambling. You said you were doing that in high school. That's crazy. I didn't have no money in high school, thank God.
Well,
so I wasn't able. And
Sorry,
Ultimate Team wasn't even out yet. So this is money as an adult, and that I'm embarrassed to say I spent my hard-earned money to pull packs. It's horrible.
Packs, bro. That has no value.
No value. No value at all. And then what makes it even worse is that now they don't care about they neglect every other mode. I'm a hardcore franchise guy. I will play 10 years in a franchise. I want to be fully immersed in my franchise mode. I dream about it. Like, I got to use this guy. I got to make this youth lineup. Whatever. Everything is bare bones now. Everything.
Because all the developments in Ultimate Team.
Everything goes to Ultimate Team, and they know they don't care. People are going to buy the game. They could give this is what they should do. I feel like if they're going to, like Fortnite, like Warzone, just give it away for free. Let people buy battle passes. Let whatever you got to do. Stop selling us a $60 game that is the same as the last year before. We play pro clubs in FIFA. Me and my friends. There is nothing to. It's nothing to it. It's so dry. It's so much that they could do and that they don't. Madden is even worse. I'm a big fan of. I've been playing Madden since the Sega Genesis.
Wow.
Sega Genesis, Madden '96, the big cartridge. I'm talking about. I've been playing Madden for I'm talking about for years, and there is nothing new. It feels the same. It's nothing.
It's a $60
roster update. That's all it is. And they want you. Once you fall out of the spell of Ultimate Team, you realize I'm not wasting my money anymore on this. You realize that it's a shame and a sin what they're doing.
Yeah. And also the problem is, like you said before, it's gambling.
It's gambling.
It's mostly kids.
It's all kids.
It's all. And the problem is, and now it's starting to change because now they're starting to actually. There's been some pressure to actually address the fact that it's gambling because you're putting money for some reward of value. But there's 2 things that happened with Ultimate Team. 1, Ultimate Team unlocked microtransactions as pay to win.
Pay to win.
It broke down the barrier where you say, the more money I put in, the better I play.
Exactly.
The better tools that I have.
Exactly.
And that's what played Call of Duty in almost every other game.
Now,
right?
Advanced Warfare. I know they gave you supply boxes randomly, right?
So it was like every hour of playtime.
Okay, every hour of playtime.
Every time you prestige, you used to get a the advanced supply drop.
Yeah.
And then every 10 levels was an advanced supply drop.
Now I had the Obsidian Steed. That was like the Battle 27, one of the variations. I got
the Inferno. First box of the game, I got the Inferno. Oh wow! I had that.
It's another one besides the Obsidian Steed. But those two were like the best ones.
It was the I forget which gun. It was like the H10 or something.
Yeah.
And it was the the Bear Fist or something.
Bear Fist. I had that.
That was a big one. And then the ASM one, Speakeasy.
Yeah, the Speakeasy. That was crazy too. Now this is the first Call of Duty that I ever had diamond camo. I had diamond camo in that. I had the challenge where you got the what mask was that?
I know what you're talking about.
The Joker mask.
Yeah.
I got the Joker. I had the Joker. You could really now. I did all this without spending any money.
Yeah.
Now,
you don't have to spend money.
If this was an option, that's the way to do it right there. That way. Where you could just play.
Well, here's why that worked. In the beginning of the game, you couldn't buy supply drops.
Oh, you couldn't?
You couldn't.
Okay.
That's how it started.
Because I didn't even know you could.
In the beginning of the game, you couldn't buy supply drops, which is why it was such a great system for me, because Advanced Warfare had the most guns out of any Call of Duty.
Oh, easily.
It had the most, because it had a great slate of base weapons. But the thing is, even if you didn't like a base weapon or the base weapon was underpowered, there was most likely a variant out there that was competitive enough that you could go out in a multiplayer and dominate, and you could pub stomp. So that was the reason that I loved it so much, is that it didn't matter all the guns I could use, because there was a variant out there that fit my playstyle, or that was able to compete with the other weapons. Obviously, the Battle 27 was overpowered.
Crazy overpowered.
But the thing is, you could get a variant of a gun that could compete with it. It may not be the base, and it may be hard to get, but if you play long enough, you'll have the tools you need to compete. Which is why it was a great system.
Keyword of what you said. By just playing long enough.
Yes.
That's it. Yes. You just had to play. I like that you can... I don't know why every Call of Duty didn't implement this, where you could get MAVs, you can get jetpacks, you can get just small details like that let you customize your character and who you're using. They need to bring stuff like that back.
That's what they're doing now, and I'll jump back to that in a second.
Yeah.
They started to go downhill because they realized at first they said it's only going to be cosmetics supply drops.
Yeah.
Then they were like, yo, we could just put guns in here and people would buy them because we're making so much money. And that was the downfall, because then I think the next 3 or 4 Call of Duties after that were microtransaction based.
Crazy microtransactions.
But what happened was, the reason we don't have microtransactions now, and this is my big reason that I'm kind of riding hard for Call of Duty right now, is because of Warzone.
Yes.
Warzone has technically Fortnite. Fortnite has fundamentally changed
video games.
The video game, the massive multiplayer online FPS market, and technically third person.
Yeah.
But Fortnite has fundamentally changed the way we play videos. One, Fortnite was in beta for years, and the reason they did that is because they can roll out updates much faster. The consoles, right, Microsoft and Sony, there's a price you have to pay and a timeline for every time you update a game, except when you're in beta. When you're in beta, they could roll out a daily update easily. So things were bugged, or bugs were fixed quickly, and the gameplay was updated quickly. So that was the first thing that made Fortnite so revolutionary. I'm not a big fan of the game right now, which is it's not my cup of tea. Because it just got out of hand.
Yeah, I don't play Fortnite.
But the model they set up, and the second thing is the Battle Pass. The Battle Pass model fundamentally changed how video games are making money, because now what they do is it increases player retention.
Everybody's gonna play.
You pay $10, right? If you play long enough and you finish the Battle Pass, you get it the next time for free.
Yep.
Right. So they're already getting a $10 charge out of you.
Everybody's buying them, and most likely nobody's gonna. The normal gamer doesn't have enough time. To make it through the battle pass.
Yeah.
So they're gonna buy
usually
next season. You're gonna buy the next one.
And here's the thing, though: the battle pass is usually only cosmetic. Right?
That's it. That's all.
It's usually only cosmetic, right? You get certain and you get things that make you stand out in game and show, and also because it's a progression system, which is the important thing. Because you level up in the battle pass, you get to flex on everybody by saying, "Here's how dominant I am. Here's how high my skill is." And what Call of Duty did to take it a step further and to entice people to use the battle pass is that they gave the weapon blueprints, which I think was a great idea because they don't give you an inherent advantage. They just let you start early. You get a head start with a weapon, and you can recreate all the variants.
You can change. Yep.
So you can recreate them if you level up the weapon,
and just take the cosmetic part of it.
Exactly. So now you get a cosmetic change to a weapon that doesn't fundamentally change it or make it more overpowered. So you're not paying to win, and also because it's a progression system, you get to show your skill in the game.
Yeah.
And so that's why Call of Duty is having this huge resurgence, right? Activision made like $1.2 billion off of their battle pass
easily.
Like this last Call of Duty, Modern Warfare 2019, was the highest grossing Call of Duty of all time for that reason.
And I like the multiplayer too. The multiplayer was cool.
And I enjoy the multiplayer.
Yeah, the multiplayer was cool.
But Warzone and the battle pass have really changed
everything.
And now because they're doing the integration stuff, which is awesome, which is like all things that they're starting to tackle the challenges that like people have had playing the games for years. So now it's this huge system where it doesn't matter if you want to play Warzone or Cold War or even still play Modern Warfare 2019, you're still leveling up uniformly. I think that's so cool what they're doing. I'm waiting to see what their next step is going to be.
I don't know. I think we need a new map. We need the what's the new one called? The new mode. It's smaller.
Gunfight.
No. It's a new. Warzone. Rebirth Island or something like that.
So here's the problem. I just spoke really highly of Call of Duty. Here's the problem with what's happening right now. And this goes back to the fact that Treyarch kind of got screwed in their development cycle again.
Oh, they definitely got screwed.
Cold War wasn't supposed to be a Treyarch game, and it wasn't supposed to be a successor to Black Ops 1.
It wasn't?
No.
I thought it was their turn.
It was supposed to be Ravensoft.
Ravens. Okay.
It was supposed, or it was either, I think it was Ravensoft started it.
With Ravens, was Ghost their first one?
No, that's Sledgehammer.
Sledgehammer,
I think, is next year.
Is next year.
I think. I haven't been keeping up with the
That's
cycles.
the one that made... The one where you picked,
that was Ghost.
That was Ghost?
Yeah, we had the operators.
What was the one where you could pick like the Flame God? They each had different special abilities.
Is that Infinite Warfare?
No, not Infinite.
The Specialists, right?
Which one is it?
Was that
it was the
4?
Flame God. It was one that after you get a certain amount of kills, you unlock this flamethrower. It was... I gotta look this up. We can look it up right here.
But I haven't, like, I took a huge gap in like playing Call of Duty because I was going through school, so I haven't like.
You missed that one.
Advanced Warfare was the last game that I played.
Okay.
And then I picked it back up for Modern Warfare 2019. After Advanced Warfare.
Damn, so you missed a lot of Call of Duty.
The problem is after Advanced Warfare. I think Advanced Warfare had the perfect formula for advanced movement.
Okay, that was crazy.
So like
once you got good at that,
it was a good balance because it was mostly vertical and slightly horizontal, right? It wasn't any like wall running or like jetpacks. Like it was like basically just like a double jump and a dash. So, but that was an interesting aspect to the game. After that, like I wasn't really a big fan of like Black Ops 3, and they kept going to the future. Like I wasn't a big fan.
Yeah, they were
Black
going
Ops
too far into the future.
I wasn't a big fan of Infinite Warfare. I played World War II for a little bit, but that game wasn't really that crazy.
I got diamond camo in that. I don't know how I got diamond camo in that game. I think it was like a week straight. I just was like locked in.
That game, it started out okay, and then they fixed a lot of the problems the game had after like the development cycle of the game. Yeah, which was kind of the problem. Like they fixed a lot of things too late. But I think it was Cold War.
You said you didn't like with Rebirth what they did.
Oh yeah. So the problem with Cold War is that It's not that I don't like Rebirth. The problem with Cold War is that it started out as a Ravensoft game. Mm-hmm. They scrapped it and basically handed the already started product to Treyarch and was like, all right, you guys finish this now. Mm-hmm. And they had like zero time to do it. So that's why the game is like, it just doesn't, it kind of feels weird sometimes. Like it doesn't have a real strong direction, especially in the campaign. You feel it most in the campaign.
I haven't played a Call of Duty campaign.
I usually do.
I know they're good though.
I played it only because it was supposed to be a Black Ops successor.
Okay.
And the Black Ops 1 campaign is like a top 2, top 3 Call of Duty campaign of all time.
Black Ops 1 campaign.
The numbers, Mason?
I don't think I played it.
You should go back and
play it. I played Modern Warfare 2, I know that. And Modern Warfare.
The Black Ops 1 campaign. That's actually like a single player experience.
Oh yeah? Yeah. I believe you. They make good campaigns.
And that's also why the game doesn't have a lot to it. There's only like what? 4 there's 6 assault rifles or less. It's like 2 or 3 sniper rifles. Yeah. Like, there's not really a lot to it. There's like the fewest number of guns and the fewest number of maps that we've had at launch. Mm-hmm. And that's just because they kind of got screwed over in the beginning. I think, and also we're talking about Black Ops now. This new Black Ops. Cold War. I think another thing is you got to remember they had to make a next gen version. That too, and they also had to make it so that they could port it and into Cold War, into Warzone. Yeah. So there's a lot going against them for this development, which is why I'm pretty lenient in terms of like. But the gameplay is cool. Have you played it on the next gen? No, not on next gen. I'll fire up the PS5. I'll let you play it. It's fun. The adaptive trigger, that's another thing Xbox doesn't have. That's true. The adaptive triggers is and every gun feels different. Like when you hold down L2 to aim, it feels different and then when you fire, it feels different depending on what you have equipped. PlayStation got it. Oh, it's amazing. I'm telling you, it's an experience. Like it's crazy. But I wanted them to put the Black Ops Cold War system. I wanted them to do that for Warzone for next gen. That's what I was looking forward to. Yeah, especially right now. The problem in Warzone is that all the Cold War guns are super overpowered. That MAC-10 is ridiculous. The DMR ridiculous. I've like me and my boys hop in and we play Warzone and we're just like, all right, boys, you got your DMR MAC-10 so you use the meta. You use the meta. No, you don't use the meta. I don't use the meta. That's what they make jokes about it. Yeah. I don't use it. I try to stay away from meta. No. And also here's the thing though. I was on the DMR wave before it became meta because I got the tactical rifles diamond. Oh damn! So I already knew. Okay. I already knew that the DMR 14 was gross, and that was in multiplayer where you're actually at a disadvantage. Yeah, using the single shot. Yeah, I knew that you're at a disadvantage using it in multiplayer. Okay. So knowing that. I was so surprised to wake up one day and everyone's using it. I was like, it's ridiculous. Come on, man. Especially in this, all the Cold War guns are just gross in Warzone for no reason. I don't know what they're gonna do. Yeah, but they got to do something. And I think, and the problem is, I just think that Infinity Ward and Treyarch and Ravensoft have just been really slow. Really, really slow at like making the tweaks in the game and the balancing. They just haven't. And that's one of my biggest gripes with the game right now is that everyone knows the MAC-10 is stupid. It's crazy. Just like everyone knows that the tactical rifles are dumb in multiplayer. My goodness. And also, I hate the sniper rifles. I don't even use the sniper rifle. I still use the HDR from the problem in Cold War multiplayer, the problem with the sniper rifles is that they have them completely backwards. They're super slow to handle, right? Which is one thing. So people who use sniper rifles don't like them. Yeah. And then the problem is the sniper rifles don't have any flinch. And on console, there's aim assist on the sniper rifles. Oh, that's so true. You're just getting deleted. Bow, it's over. Like you're getting deleted, and you're watching the kill cams. Like, how does that even happen? Yeah, I've lost the sniper rifles in multiplayer with my AK. I got the AK gold. I haven't really played much of the multiplayer. I did enough just to get the AK gold, but I've lost a lot of gun battles. Yeah, and it shouldn't be happening because like you round the corner, there's a guy using a sniper, and you know he's using a sniper rifle because you see the scope in. He's standing still. You shoot him 4 times, and then he quick scopes you, and then you watch or he's just aiming down sight, and then you just headshots you, and then you watch the kill feed, right? And the crosshairs, they're just like this. They never move, and you see his screen turning red. He's clearly getting hit. You see the health bar at the bottom going down, and nothing happens. And it's the little stuff like that I feel like is like what will elevate Call of Duty to that next level from here. that attention to detail between the developers and the player base. They've kind of lost that.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to happen with every game with next gen. Yeah. I think everything now, what we got were a bunch of titles that they just had to try to make it as next gen as they could, get the graphics kind of up to date.
Once they actually have the free reign to start at next gen.
Next year, hopefully not 2 years, hopefully next year or this year, everything is just like it's gonna blow us out of the water.
And hopefully they don't do what they did with the last generation where the titles the next gen titles just weren't that great.
Ghost was not good. Ghost was the first one, I think, right?
Yes, Ghost was it was awful.
The
graphics were better, but besides that, it was awful.
Oh, it wasn't good.
It wasn't good.
I never played a Call of Duty for the least amount of time.
Ghost was awful.
It was no good.
But I just feel like what I'm excited to see is like what's gonna be that groundbreaking moment where we broke all the rules and we're gonna give you a next generation game. Like the only game that I really feel like did that where you're like, wow, like this is crazy was GTA 5. Do you like GTA 5 after playing on Xbox 360 and then playing on Xbox One? They completely redid the visuals.
Oh, wait a minute. You really feel like that was that was it was the same. They looked better.
But also,
and they added first person.
The game but the first person was huge.
That was huge. I was excited for that.
It was the game looked so much better. The game played so much better. They kept adding in more and more content to make the game playable. Okay. I feel like GTA 5 was one of the few games where you're like, this is actually next generation.
Have you played Red Dead Redemption 2?
I haven't.
You haven't.
I was still in the beginning, I was in college when that dropped. Well, I'm still in college now. But
you need to go and play. Is it that it's for both?
Yes.
Yeah. Red Dead Redemption 2 is what you think GTA 5 is on next gen.
Well, what I'm saying is at launch.
At launch, at launch. Yeah.
I played Red Dead Redemption 1, which is one of my favorite video games of all time. Yeah. That was crazy.
Crazy game.
But I've been waiting to play. I'm not really a big single player guy. The last single player game I played I dove into was Fallout 4.
Fallout, amazing. Let me tell you about Fallout 4. I've never even beaten Fallout 4, but I've played it. I've at least put 100-something out. Look, this is how immersed I get and how deep into the game I get. One of my first runs, once I discover base building and stuff, I would go and I would spend hours just building the base how I wanted it, this, that, and the third. So then I said, okay, when survival mode came out, it was a patch or something that added survival mode. Mm-hmm. Have you tried survival mode?
Yeah.
Now, you can't fast travel.
It's hardcore mode,
It's hardcore mode, basically.
I want to show you what you're talking about.
And I started a survival / a hardcore run, and I made it far. I made it up to the point where you got to pick a faction so you can build
that's deep.
The thing. But I'm talking about you can't fast travel. You can only save when you sleep.
And also there's weight limits. So when you carry too much stuff, you slow down.
You have to eat.
Yeah, you have to eat, drink water, sleep. That was a super immersive game.
And so I've played that game so much, and I've never, like I said, I've never beaten a game. If I can play it, I will never be able to beat a game like that, which is good in my opinion.
You don't want to beat it.
You don't want to beat it, and you don't even have to continue with the main story. You just say
it's a true open world experience.
It's only up there. It's only other game that can compete is another Bethesda title. You ever play Skyrim?
Yeah.
Skyrim, that's another game. Mm-hmm. Now I've done everything you could do in Skyrim and Oblivion, and I'm ready for the next Elder Scrolls game. Mm-hmm. But play. I'm telling you,
Red Dead.
Play Red Dead Redemption 2. Now that is because I beat Grand Theft Auto on PS3. Mm-hmm. Did I beat it again? I couldn't play it again on PS4. It was I played so much of it on PS3. And then now they want us to play it again on the PS5. It's just not going to happen.
Rockstar is really crazy, bro.
They're crazy. Really That's 3 console generations.
They really said, here, just hold this and keep it.
Keep it.
They said keep it.
Keep it. You try to give it back. No. This is for you. You keep it. But I bought it again. I said, you know what? Let's all get on GTA Online. Me and all my friends. Let's buy
GTA Online. I was there when it first dropped. That shit was awful.
Awful.
It was awful. And now it's good, but they still have their problems now. I could never get into GTA. I could never do like those like open world online games because it's just like 12-year-olds who sweat and
that's
just,
all it is.
Like, bro, I'm just trying to do missions and get money.
We had somebody in a helicopter just shooting us down.
Leave me alone.
Like,
bro.
What are y'all doing?
You got something to do.
It was no good. But I'm telling you, Red Dead Redemption 2. And this is another thing. When you finally do get your PS5, don't get the Xbox. When you get you're gonna start playing games over again. Mm-hmm. I've been playing. I played Final Fantasy VII Remake over again because I didn't beat that. Now, and I played the original Final Fantasy VII on PS1. That was like one of my first like RPGs. I was in love with that game. But everything is smoother and optimized on PS5. It's just amazing. I'm telling you. Red Dead. Play Red Dead. But we made it 50 minutes in to episode 178 of Left Hand Lab Podcast. I didn't even let this man introduce himself. We just been talking.
Yeah, we jumped right in.
You could tell the people about who you are and, give a little introduction.
Of course. So my name is Tim Wise. I'm from out here in northern Jersey. Mm-hmm. So right now I'm a college student. I'm a senior at Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute studying industrial and systems engineering.
Damn.
I'm getting my master's degree in business analytics. No one really cares about that stuff though. That kind of just informs where I kind of approach all of these topics from.
Okay.
But I've been in sports all my life. I'm on the track team now. I'm a decathlete. Mm-hmm. And really, I just like to be a student of the culture. I just like to kind of look at things critically in terms of whether it's video games or sports or fashion or streetwear, and just think of how we got to where we are now and try to see where we're going in the future. So I'm not really an expert in any of on these topics. I just really enjoy studying them.
Hey, you know what they say? You can't be a master until you master being a student, you know?
Exactly.
And so from the sound of everything he just said, it sounds like the man is on his way.
Exactly.
And so my dad was telling me now that you designed some type of sneaker or something like that?
Yeah, I did.
Now, can you tell us about that? What do you mean you designed this, like on Nike ID? Or
so real quickly, my sneaker actually sold in a Foot Locker.
Oh, for real?
Yes. Online, you can go buy it right now.
Oh, we got to look it up.
So, you can pull it up right now. It should be...
we can pull it up.
It's called it's Pencil Asics.
Pencil Asics. Oh shoot!
So it's Pencil PENSOLE.
Oh, SOLE. Okay. Oh, is it a New Balance?
No, it's an Asics one.
Okay, Asics.
I'm not sure if it's gonna be. Oh, here it is. Yeah, I found it. If you go on Foot Locker's website,
go on Foot Locker.
It's actually you
these saw
ones
it
right here. Those two.
Yo, these are fire. Hypebeast got a hold of them. You designed these?
So I was part of the team that designed. It was a team of 3.
Oh, that's fire.
So the way I kind of found this opportunity was Pencil, PENSOLE, is a sneaker design school in Portland, Oregon. One of the old head designers of Jordan, Dwayne Edwards.
Oregon, that's Nike. That's Nike town.
So the old head designer of Jordan, Dwayne Edwards, started his own sneaker design school. So what he does is there's a program called Fueling the Future of Footwear where they take 18 designers and people interested in the industry, and they fly you out to Portland, and you spend 3 weeks working with whatever company. They're doing it with New Balance now, but at the time there was only Asics.
Yeah.
Working with Asics, Asics creative director, Foot Locker, a bunch of Foot Locker executives, and Edwards and his team himself on developing your own sneaker. Now, it was a really tough program to get into.
Of course.
They stopped reading applications. They just stopped reading them at 5,000.
Yeah, of course.
And they took 18. And so there's people from around the world. I actually work with one woman from Israel, and the other was from, I believe, Puerto Rico. I'm sorry if I get that wrong. But we spend 3 weeks designing our own pack of sneakers, and they pick one that's going to retail at Foot Locker, and ours is the one that won.
Yo.
So this is the design that we came up with, or the 2 designs that we came up with. They're based off of the Japanese tradition of Daruma, which is actually very fitting. It's a New Year's tradition that involves it's a lot of concepts of kind of rebirth, of goal setting, resolutions, promises, really like self-determination. That was the what we wanted to kind of capture with these sneakers.
Okay.
So the little symbol in the ASICS logo right there, the kanji, that's actually the symbol for luck.
Yeah.
So that was really the kind of what we wanted to capture with the two sneakers. So this first one here, the red one,
this is crazy. I like the colors.
So those are the colors of the Japanese Daruma,
okay.
Which is a paper mache figurine that you get at Buddhist temples every New Year. You fill in the left eye. The eyes are blank and white. And
okay.
You fill them in with ink. You fill in the left eye to signal the start of a tradition, of a journey or a goal or a promise or a resolution. And when that's completed, you fill in the right eye, and then you bring it to the temple to burn it on the New Year celebration in a huge bonfire. And that signals, the start of the New Year. Then this pair right here, the blue pair, we wanted to expand on that idea of Daruma and kind of focus in on the drawing aspect, right? We looked at the idea of drawing or filling the eye in as using art and expression as a form of manifestation of one's internal goals. So we expanded that out to the idea of street art and of graffiti, and thinking of how most people see graffiti, or not even most people, there are a few people who see graffiti as an annoyance,
something negative.
Yeah, something negative. But when you really sit down, you start to read into the history of it, into the people that are involved with it. It really is a beautiful art form.
Of course,
that ends up being really positive most of the time, 90% of the time. So we want to focus in on that positive form of self-expression and manifestation.
Yeah.
So that graffiti and the street art on the back, on the heel tab, that's a custom print that we designed.
Yeah.
And it really just, like I said, represents self-manifestation and actualization.
Yeah.
So it was something I'm really proud of having worked on. I was responsible for coming up with the brand identity and the brand story as the brand designer for these sneakers. So everything that I told you, I was the one responsible for kind of putting all that together. And then we use that to inform these two really gorgeous sneakers.
That's amazing.
So these are, you can actually still buy. I don't see anything from them, so we already get our money up front. They give us a $5,000 check each for winning.
Oh my god!
So I'm not plugging these because I get anything. If you really like them, if you go into Foot Locker and just look up pencil in the search bar, these two should pop up.
So you can't. First of all, I want to say, yo, you should definitely be proud of what you did, because that's major. To be selected, to even to have the opportunity to design these.
I was the youngest person there. So
yeah,
I was with people who were like 30, 40 years old on these.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you guys did amazing. These are crazy. So you can't get these. You can't put a call in and get.
No.
Oh,
I can't even put a call in.
Do you have some?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, you have.
I didn't wear them today because it was a little bit wet outside, so I like to.
Yeah, you gotta keep those clean.
But I've got a pair of both that are boxed up that I'm just keeping to keep. I'm gonna show them to my kids one day and put them somewhere where everyone can see them.
Yeah, these are crazy.
But then I do have the red ones are my personal favorite just because they're probably the most comfortable pair of sneakers that I've owned.
Oh my god!
Not just because I made them, but because the model is designed for comfort. They're a remake of an older model that ASICS had in the 90s that was actually originally supposed to be a running shoe. Obviously now that's not what they're used for. ASICS has really incredible shoes for running that use a lot of technology that's a lot newer than the ones that are used in
ASICS hit the streets now. ASICS is part of fashion. Ronnie Feig done got a hold of them, and you guys got a hold of them. ASICS is these are crazy. These are up my alley. These are the kind of sneakers I like. Only low top sneakers. I only wear like Kobe, stuff like that. Anything low top. These are crazy.
Yeah. So they're super comfortable. They look incredible with whatever you want to wear. Whether it's either winter or summer. If you want to go shorts or jeans, joggers, doesn't matter. But it was a really incredible experience. And I'm super proud of the way these come out. Every time I see a picture, I'm like, wow,
yo, that's crazy.
We really went off. And
y'all made
really did their thing. They really did their thing.
Yeah, that is something special right here. These are crazy. OD. Yo, they're probably on StockX going for some change right now. You don't think so?
They're too small, man. I wish they were, but I don't even think you'll find them on StockX. There's only 1,000 pairs of each of these.
Only 1,000?
And they weren't really super hyped up. I mean, obviously none of us have the name recognition to demand any price increases. So they're actually on sale. You can get them on sale.
Yeah, I'm gonna get some of these. I'm definitely gonna try to get some. Look, StockX. I told you these things are on StockX.
That's actually incredible. I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, look at them. You can look at them and tell, like, okay, these are StockX.
I like this picture too because you can see how they look in the light.
Yeah,
the metallic gold really pops.
Yeah.
They're like, and again, I'm trying not to be biased, but they really were.
These are crazy.
Pair of sneakers.
Now, how do you feel about the sneaker culture right now? What is your take as a sneaker designer? Because you could call yourself a sneaker designer. These are on StockX. How do you feel about what's going on? You can only bid for these. Yeah. I told you.
There's only 1,000 pairs of each, man.
Yeah, so these
hopefully one day people look back like, yo, these were fire, and hopefully some celebrity gets their hands on them one day.
That's all it takes.
And people look back and like, yo, like I got these one of 1,000 pair of sneakers that some kid from Northern Jersey designed, you know?
Yeah, that's crazy.
But
how do you feel about what's going on now with sneakers? Were you ever okay, I'm gonna line up and try to get these foams? Were you from Montclair, right?
Yeah.
Montclair kids always got the newest sneakers. This is how it was when I was younger. If you were the kids from Montclair, they had the newest sneakers. We spent every summer from when I was in 9th grade to the year after I graduated high school in Montclair every day playing basketball at Glenfield Park and MCAT. This was 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, the year after playing MCAT. I know Montclair. As a Montclair kid, were you the kid that I had this new sneaker that came out, I had this reselling? Were you into that? Or
So I'm glad you asked, and honestly I wasn't. Here's why. So like I said, I've been an athlete ever since I was 6 years old. Mm-hmm. So at that point, like I was wearing sneakers to run around in. I would just beat them up. So I was getting whatever cheap and comfortable I could find. And the second thing is that I'm a tall guy. I'm 6'6". So my feet were always growing when I was younger. So if I got a pair of shoes, I could only have them for like 6-7 months before I outgrew them. Let alone that they just fell apart from use. So I was never really into sneakers when I was younger because I just couldn't. Like I knew about Jordans. I always knew they look. I always wanted to wear them, but I just knew like my feet were too wide. Jordans ran narrow, and then I would just worry about them. I would just grow out of them so quick. So I only really started getting into sneakers around high school. And when you're asking what I think about sneakers right now, I think we're at a really, really interesting moment. Just in terms of a lot of things, a lot of parallel industries and a lot of adjacent industries are going through the same thing right now. But when you think about sneakers, right, it really blew up in the late 80s, early 90s, right? Okay. That was really when that was like the explosion, right? That was the genesis of the culture that we're really living in today. Obviously, there was some stuff before. Converse was doing some things here and there, but that was when sneakers became more than just for basketball.
Yeah.
And then for the next, 10, 15, 20 years, it was a huge period of innovation, right? Jordan was releasing a shoe every year. That was a performance sneaker, right? That was a performance sneaker. And it was an arms race, really, to figure out who could come up with the best technology that also looked the best. I think we're in a moment right now where that process has really stalled.
Yeah, that's performance-wise.
Because in terms of performance, like, the progress has really slowed down.
Yeah.
Sneakers have been optimized to an insane degree to the point where there's not a lot of room for things to develop the same way that they used to. I mean, look at the Jordan 1. That's an awful basketball shoe.
I would never play basketball in any Jordan.
Look at the Jordan 4s. Like I don't understand how people play basketball in any of those shoes, which is why it was such a fruitful moment for the cultures, because they were innovating so much to try and find what worked best. But now we've reached a point where there's not really a lot of innovation that's happening in terms of streetwear performance sneakers. And I think that and also when you look at what Nike's doing right now, every shoe that's big for Nike is already released before. It's a re-release, except for a few like the Sakai's. Like the Sakai's, like one of the only original models and what Adidas was doing with Boost and with the NMDs in like 2013.
Yeah, they started trying to do
those
something
are like of recent memory. Those are the only real moments where there's been innovation and unique silhouettes developed. And I mean, look what's happening with Nike right now. All the shoes that are big that resell for a lot of money that are covetous, Jordan 1, and right now it's Dunks.
Now everything you're saying is true, and it's just like we said with Ultimate Team. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing.
Yep, it's exactly the same.
Capitalism created what we have now in America with sneakers. It's done. They said we don't have to make any new sneakers. We don't have to try to earn these people's money. Nope. We're just going to re-release shoes that were out in 85. Jordan 1s came out in like 86, I think, or 80.
With new colors.
With new colors, or just the original colors, and their worst performance-wise, because nobody's performing in them anyway
unless
now.
Unless they're skate sneakers. Like unless you're skateboarding in them. That's it.
Now, I had to retire. I used to be head and shoulders into the sneaker game. Any new foam, it was the foam era. It was the foam era, and
Galaxy foams.
The Galaxy foams were that was the last straw for me. I would spend my last to go to Flight Club and have to pay overpriced because if you couldn't get them waiting in line, you had to go to Flight Club. That was your only other option, or you had to go on Soul Exchange and meet up with somebody and do all this extra stuff and pay way more than retail. Capitalism killed the sneaker game. Keeps the sneaker game. It's in shambles right now. The Galaxy foams, right? Speaking of Dunks, I'll talk about Dunks too. Galaxy foams. I had so many foams. The Galaxy foams were coming out. Willowbrook Mall is where you had to go because that was the only house of hoops nearby. Yeah. So I told my boss at my old job at the Boys and Girls Club, I said, Reg, I got to get these Galaxy foams. He knows about sneakers. He said, yo, you got to get them. I said, I can't go to work tomorrow. I'm going to go to Willowbrook Mall at 4 in the morning, and I'm going to wait from 4 in the morning till midnight. And I'm going to get these Galaxy foams because I have to have them. I can resell them for X, Y, and I have to get them. You got to get your hands on it. I had to.
You can decide whether to keep them later.
Yeah. I had to get so I get to the mall 4 o'clock in the morning to wait. And this is, I'm talking about, I got there at 4 o'clock in the morning to wait till midnight. I planned on waiting from 4 in the morning till midnight. I get to the mall.
It's 20 hours.
There was hundreds of people there at the mall at 4 o'clock in the morning to wait till it was hundreds. So I park. I don't turn around yet. This is how I knew something was wrong. This is the same thing that happened with Ultimate Team. I said, what am I doing? I didn't turn around. I said, oh no, I'm going to park and I'm going to go join the hundreds of people because I got to have these Galaxy foams. So I go and I'm in the line. The police have a barricade. You thought it was bad yesterday when the Pilgrims were going to Capitol Hill? No. This was way worse. They damn near trampled the police officer. Eventually they got everybody in lines. They got us in the mall at around like 9 or 10, and we got tickets. I could have bought the Galaxy Kobe's, which I have upstairs. Galaxy Kobe 7s. I could have got those, but my mind was set on the Galaxy foams. I was in a raffle. I didn't win. At that point, my life changed. We're in the shop. Everybody that listens to the podcast, to the Left Hand Led podcast, you know about Shop Heirlooms. This is the shop. It wouldn't be no Shop Heirlooms if it wasn't for those Galaxy foams. After that, I said I'm done. I will never go and wait in line or nothing for sneakers ever again. This is ridiculous. So to prove to myself that I was done, I told my dad, it's this thing coming called SneakerCon. We gotta go. I put all my foams in a laundry basket. We drove to New York to, I forgot where it was, like at South Street Seaport or something, Basketball City, something like that. We waited in line to get in, and I sold every single last one of my foams. I sold my pearl. I had the pearls. Those I really wish I would have kept those. I had coppers, which I have since gotten another pair of those when they re-released them again. And I my coppers. I had Midnights. I I had, you name them, I had them. I had almost every pair of foam. Every foam that was out, I had almost. Sold all of them. And when I saw, like, hold on a minute. There are people that are still maniacs like me that will pay whatever for this stuff. I said, okay. Now I could see I was doing it wrong. And I said, instead of going crazy to buy this stuff, I'm gonna sell it.
Yeah.
And that's what birthed the shop. And it let me go and revisit the business plan that I wrote back in the day when I worked at GameStop. And I said, I got to get this thing rocking and rolling, which I ended up doing. But Dunks, when I was in high school, Dunks, you could go to, what's the skateboard store called in the malls? Zoomies or whatever. Oh my God, you could go in there and you could get some Dunks for $50. I promise you.
They were literally like Converse.
Like Converse.
They were Vans.
They were $50, $40. My cousin had the Dunks, the notebook Dunks. You could look up so many Dunks on StockX that are like $500, $600 now.
You could get for literally $50.
$40, $50. I had them. I had a lot of Dunks. I had so many Dunks. I gave them away. I promise you, I gave a lot, all of my Dunks away. I gave all of them away. All of them. It's ridiculous. You can't buy sneakers anymore. You're not going to win the raffles. Mm-mm. You're going to have the sneakers that you're not going to win.
And listen, let me tell you something.
Go ahead.
Nike is taking advantage of all of this. They know what they're doing.
Oh, of course.
What you said about capitalism is so true, because here's the thing. Here's where Nike is getting over on all of us.
Yes.
They know we want these sneakers, right?
Yep.
They know people are going to go crazy, but that's all manufactured.
Mm-hmm.
It's manufactured because they intentionally make few of them.
Yes.
Here's what they do. They have a model. They have a formula that says, how many sneakers can we produce to maximize our profit and also keep the frenzy at a maximum. Right?
At a maximum.
They have a way of quantifying how many people want the sneakers, and it's inverse to the amount of pairs that they have. The less pairs that they have, the more people want them.
Exactly.
So there's a perfect number that they find that says, all right, if we make XYZ number of sneakers, we're going to have the maximum amount of people want them and also maximize the amount of pairs that we're going to sell.
This all math. So you're definitely right.
And so it's super simple. They have data analysts who are paid to do this at Nike. That's what they do. And then here's where else they're getting over on us to make things cheaper. All these silhouettes, it costs money to produce.
Yes.
So if you have an original silhouette, it's a huge iterative process. And we had to go through this.
We had to go through this
to make the sneakers. So like, I know what I'm talking about. There's a huge iterative process where they have to draw the sneaker out, right? Come out with the layout.
Yeah.
Then they have to send out that drawing to get actually produced, right? And to produce a sneaker costs like a lot of money to test it, to make it one-off. You have to source the material. They've never done this before.
Yeah.
There's this huge iterative process of coming up with different drafts of the sneaker, different prototypes. And when you're only making one, it costs a lot of money to do that because you have to create the new tooling, the new molds for the rubber. When they're remaking these old sneakers like Dunks, all these molds have already been made. So they already have all the equipment to do it. All they have to decide is what color and what material and where they're going to source it from.
I had no idea about this. Oh my God.
That's why it's in Nike's best interest to not create new designs, because it's so much cheaper to do so.
I did not
it's
know
not
that.
because it's not for any other reason other than it's cheaper.
You're gonna save money.
They save so much. That's why they're making so much money.
We've made these because I always wondered, why do they just keep bringing out, they retro, they call it, and they keep bringing out the same exact sneakers.
Because it reduces the cost. So there's here's the other thing. There's also a cost that they have to pay designers to come up with these. So there's a huge upfront cost for developing a shoe.
Don't gotta pay that.
Not even just in the raw materials, but just in the man hours it takes to develop a shoe. It's a huge process. It takes a lot of people who get paid in order to develop a sneaker.
Yeah.
So they cut all that cost out.
Wow.
They cut all that time, and time is money. They cut all that out, which is why they're so happy just re-releasing 20 pairs of Dunks in a new year. And I remember it was like, 2-3 years ago? It was like, all we got were Jordan 1s.
That's all we got.
There was a new pair of Jordan 1s every month.
Every month you got some new one, and people went crazy.
Crazy.
If people will commit murder over these sneakers, that's how Nike, Adidas with the Yeezys, even Asics, New Balance now, it's everywhere. Hype beast mentality, it killed the sneaker game. And capitalism as well, but capitalism is behind everything in America.
But that's why we're like, right now we're culturally like, stuck in this like 90s rerun.
Yeah.
Even this jersey that I'm wearing, right?
With the Nike logo like that. That's the old Nike logo.
And that's why this jersey is so expensive. Like, if you try to get this online, this is like a $200 shirt. And that's why, because it has the old Nike logo. And it's got this funky, you can't see it on camera, but it's got this funky Nike print, or not Nike print, it's got this print that's inlaid in the jersey. We're culturally stuck in the 90s because all these companies realize we can just remake everything we've already done.
We don't, and it's gonna sell just the same.
It's gonna sell the exact same, and
or even better than it did in the past.
Exactly,
even better.
So
than
that's
it did
where
in the
we're
past.
like culturally stuck in the 90s. It's even the same with the clothes that we're wearing. Every company out there just going back to their old 90s shoes. The shoe that we designed is based off of the old 90s model from Asics.
Exactly.
Everything we're doing is retro. Is
now
stuck in the 90s.
So now that I know that, so did they give you templates to choose from? Oh, so they told you guys, you got to use one of these. Oh,
so that's what they did
wow.
for us. So they gave us the base. They're like, this is what we had to work with.
Oh, see, so they didn't even really let you you did create, but they didn't even let you really.
And I understand the reason they did it is because they can't afford to spend money on the test process for us. It is a lot of money to test and develop a new sneaker.
Yeah.
So like I get it. Like it makes sense for that because we only have 3 weeks to make it.
Okay.
We don't have all the time to send drawings and get back samples from the factory. But this is what's happening for every sneaker. Every sneaker that you see. It's basically been cut where you don't have to worry about the silhouette. All you have to do is pick whatever colors and materials that you want to use.
That's crazy.
And then all they're testing is, will these colors and materials work on the physical design? And already the rendering that's used in pencil, there's a machine that it takes a scan of an object and it can replace the material in a 3D render. Wow. And it gives you a photorealistic 3D render of whatever you scanned with a different color and material. Wow. So they don't even have to make the sneakers to know what it's going to look like if they switch out the material. So all the work that Travis Scott does, right? If he's taking like a Jordan 1 or even the Air Force 1s or the Dunks, flipping the swoosh is one thing, but once they do that, all that stuff is rendered to such incredible detail. They already know what it's going to look like in different lighting, in different situations.
Oh, that is crazy.
They already know. So all that process is cut out. They're cutting corners and saving money. So if you're someone out there, and I know it's so tempting to go crazy for these sneakers. Yeah. Just don't let Nike get over on you. Like,
stop.
It won't, because things won't change and we won't see development until it stops selling.
That's it.
Like until it stops selling, we're not gonna get any periods of great development or of great design. You know, we're not gonna have a Tinker Hatfield moment where we have one person who's like designing these crazy sneakers. The closest thing we have is Travis Scott.
Or no,
not Travis Scott, but I mean, in
what
terms
about
of sneakers.
What about Kanye West? I think he's trying to revolutionize.
And that's why it's hard for me to like, and that's why I have to give a lot of respect.
Yeah.
And I meant more at Nike in terms of
Nike,
because they're the ones who are really like,
they're the giants.
They're the giants, but that's why there's not as many designers. And not to disrespect the designers that are out there, like people like Jerry Lorenzo, people like Virgil Abloh, even though there are some critiques of his work, but even still his work in terms of developing, you know, reimagining new ideas is still really impressive. But that's why people like Kanye, like Lorenzo Ferragamo, like Virgil Abloh, that's why they're so few and far between, but that's why their stuff sells so good. But even what Kanye's doing with Yeezy, have you noticed that there hasn't been a ton of new Yeezy stuff?
Yeah, no.
I mean, once the 350s blew up, like the 350s blew up, and then there was a 350 V2. Yeah. So now it's just new colorways of the same thing that's happening. There's how many colors of the 350?
Yeah. And I like the 700s.
Yeah, the 700s.
I like those.
I think it's the 500s. But it's just new.
It's all of the same thing.
But that's the formula that happens now. I want you to pay attention to what happens. What happens is when they develop a new sneaker, it starts out super limited. The best example I have of this is the NMD in like 2013 and Boost. Okay. Boost and NMD were brand new technologies. It was like NMD Fever, right? There was that one pair of like that were like red, white, and blue that are still like $10,000.
Oh my goodness.
They're still super hard to come by. They're super limited. Really high level collaborations, really exclusive drops. But over time, they get a little bit easier to get. It happened with Yeezy too. In the beginning, you couldn't get your hands on Yeezy. You couldn't. And now what they do is once they build up the hype, they pull the rug out by making it easier and easier to get. And so by the time you are able to get one, you still think, wow, like I got my hands on a pair of Yeezys, even though the stock is at 50,000, 100,000. By now, it's a commodity. By now, it's super easy to get, and they have that down to a formula. And again, all this stuff's been optimized. They already know the exact time they have to wait and the exact release schedule to have in order to optimize the desire for these shoes.
They got the formula.
It's all a formula.
They got the formula, the secret formula, and it's a shame. It really is.
Because it prevents us from having more moments like the NMD. The NMD is trash now. No one wears Boost. Nobody. No one wears NMD. And there was a point for like 2 or 3 years where that's all anybody wore. If you were a hype beast, right? If you were really deep in the game, like you were wearing NMDs. At some point.
You're right.
You've either bought them or worn them. And now they're like, and now it's the same thing that happened. They're just a general release.
That's crazy. That's what happened to... Seeing that happen to foams is what blew my mind.
It happened to foams too. And it's going to happen to Jordan 1s. If they keep doing this, it's going to happen to Dunks. If they keep doing this. And
we've seen it happen to all these... It's insane. This is insane.
It's crazy. And they're just... What the wake up moment for me was going through that program and kind of putting like 2 and 2 together.
Yeah.
And Dwayne Edwards, he's a really great sneaker. He's one of the only black sneaker designers for Jordan. He's the only one. I think there's 7 people who've designed a Jordan sneaker.
Okay.
He's the only black one.
Okay, I didn't know that.
And he really changed the way that I look at shoes. One of the things he said that always stuck with me is that he walks into a room, never once, and again, this is maybe a little bit of exaggeration, but I don't doubt it. Never once has he walked into a room, and he's like, I never walked into a room and had the same sneakers as anybody. And you believe it, because like for when we like every day he walked in with a new pair of Asics, a new pair of Jordans, a new pair of New Balance, right? Every day it was something new, and he was like, even if you don't have the money to buy a new pair of shoes for every day of the week. He said, focus on not being like other people.
Yeah, get some shoes that you don't see everybody getting.
Exactly. Focus on, and that doesn't mean it has to be exclusive. It doesn't have to be the 1 of 500 pair that you paid,
arm and a leg for. Yeah.
6 months wages for. You can get stuff that's hard to find or stuff that people aren't wearing for cheap. It's often easier to do that because people don't like it.
People don't like it because it's not popular.
Exactly, and that's what really kind of changed my understanding of sneakers. I don't like. Yes, I obviously like I love a good Dunk. I love a good Jordan 1. Like it's always tempting. Like you want to buy those things. But when I think of what I really want to wear, I'm always in the mindset of let me get something that people haven't bought. My best example is the Puma, Kyle Kuzma's Pumas that just dropped.
Let's look at those because I don't know what they look like.
Exactly.
I don't even know what they look like.
If you look up Puma Pro, right here, top one.
Oh, okay. Oh, these are Kyle Kuzma's? Oh, wow. Hold on, let me switch it here to this so they can see on the podcast. Okay.
So,
because everybody in the NBA now is going to Puma.
Yeah.
All the young guys.
So these are like a weird hybrid between a performance shoe and a streetwear shoe. They're a little bit heavy to actually play basketball and a little bit clunky. I wouldn't recommend it, but when you put them on, I'm almost positive they use Adidas Boost in them. Oh, because Boost isn't Adidas's technology.
It's not.
They licensed that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's from a German car seat manufacturer. That's where they got that from. That's why Adidas is so expensive because they source that. But Puma's also a German company. They're using either Boost or a Boost replica, so they're the most comfortable shoes I've ever worn. They look great. Yeah. And no one has them.
Nobody. I never.
And wait, what's the current resale on them? $80.
$80. You can't beat that.
$80.
You can't beat that at all.
I would be better off have not bought
gotten them at retail.
I paid almost twice.
Yeah, you did. You paid double almost.
I paid double for less from double. Retail.
Yeah, wow.
And no one has them. At least that I know. There might be someone out there.
Of course, someone has them, but I've never seen them.
But I've never seen someone talking about them.
Never.
And they're my favorite pair of shoes now because they look for me like they look really good. You can disagree if they look good. But that's what I'm saying.
All that matters is what it looked like to you.
Exactly.
You're the one wearing it.
You can go out and get a pair of shoes like that. And those were from Foot Locker's 12 Days of Greatness. Those should have been a big release. But they flopped. I love them. And that's all that matters. I think they look good, and no one else has seen them.
That's how that's how it should go. And I think that's how it was.
Yes. Well, that's how it was because you could get You could get, cheap dunks. You could get cheap ones.
I remember a time where when I was in high school, I graduated high school 2007. Mm-hmm. We used to walk downtown. So this is 06, 05. I used to, after practice or sometimes not during basketball season, I'm walking downtown Newark to catch the bus. Mm-hmm. And you walk past the sneaker stores. I went to St. Benedict's Prep, right next to downtown Newark. You go to next to VIM or whatever, one of these stores, mm-hmm. and you saw whatever new sneaker was out. You saw them downtown.
Yeah, you saw them in the storefront.
You could walk downtown in the store if you had $160 because that's all they were. It wasn't $200 yet. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they were like $140. If you had $140, you could go in and you could get the Jordan, the 14s. Mm-hmm. You could go and get the DMP pack with the 7s with mm-hmm. the black and gold 7s.
And that's how you found out about them. You either got a magazine because that wasn't like the sneaker industry wasn't really big on the internet at that time.
No, it wasn't.
It wasn't huge. So you either got them in like a magazine or you heard about them through word of mouth or you just had to see them in the store.
And you went down and you saw them.
Yes.
And they were not sold out. You could go in and you can buy them. If you had money, because I went to Benedict, some students had money. People would have. I've seen people like, let's go downtown. I'm going to buy some sneakers, and they went downtown and bought new sneakers. Mm-hmm. And it was just as simple as that. And that's I think I don't think it's ever gonna happen again, or not for any time soon, because capitalism is running rampant and hype beast culture is at an all-time high. It was never before.
I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a countercultural shift away from these exclusive drops.
Yeah.
Away from the sweating and the waiting in line and entering 50 raffles to get nothing. I think what's going to happen is people are going to start stepping away from that and just being like, I'm just going to go and look.
I'm just going to go look.
Because instead of letting Nike tell us and Adidas tell us what's hot, instead of letting what hypebeast.com tell us what's good, people are going to be like, I'm tired of listening to this because this is trash. Yeah. And the best experiences that I've had, especially recently, is you go to the mall, you go to a Foot Locker or a House of Hoops or any one of those sneaker stores, mm-hmm. and you can get them on sale. And you can find them, you can look at them in store, and oftentimes it's things that you haven't seen. And most of the time it's like general releases. Oftentimes the best looking shoes are the general releases mm-hmm. of the normal models, mm-hmm. and those are the ones that no one's ever really seen before, and you're gonna get a lot of props for them. Like that's where I find my gems nowadays, And the same thing happened. I have the Tribe Called Quest Vans.
Ooh.
And again, those shoes were supposed to be exclusive. They flopped, mm-hmm. right? Because they just didn't get a lot of traction, but every time people see them, they love them.
Love them.
It's a great conversation starter, mm-hmm. and I literally got them 6 months after they released by going into a Foot Locker. I saw them on the shelf. I was like, do you have these in a 13? He's like, no, our other store does.
Oh, wow.
And they were on sale.
Wow. See, we all have to cross our fingers and hope what you're saying is true.
Yeah.
Because this is enough has been enough. And I know I'm tired of it.
It will reach a point. It will happen naturally. This isn't sustainable.
No, it can't be.
People.
It was a long time. Yeah. It's been going for a long time.
And the same thing, the same fatigue that you described over Ultimate Team mm-hmm. is going to happen here. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again and have success.
Yeah, you know,
even though that's what Nike's trying to do right now, mm-hmm. literally doing the same thing over and over again, it will shift because eventually this isn't going to be the most efficient way of making money.
Yeah. Everyone
and their mother is gonna get tired of this system. It's just that I truly believe that's how it's gonna work.
Yeah. People are tired of striking out.
Yeah.
I think PS5s and what's going on with the next gen consoles is gonna help.
Yeah.
Because people are tired of the bots and they're like, I'm not paying you, reseller. I'm not paying you this crazy amount of money for what I'm not doing it.
Everything that's popular is now up for resale.
Exactly.
And it's gonna reach a point where people are like, this is
I'm not,
crazy.
And the resellers are going to be stuck, mm-hmm. and then that's when it's just they're going to have to all sell, and that's when it's all going to normalize. It should.
It's a bubble.
It's a bubble. The bubble got to pop. The bubble got to pop.
Not to be a conspiracy theorist, but the resale bubble. I don't see this. People are going to get frustrated with being this is a console, dude.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't have to.
I shouldn't have to do this.
It's gonna be like this for everything, bro. We're gonna be 40 years old trying to buy a fridge.
Yo,
we have to buy all it for resale on StockX.
Sold out. I gotta go to this is
all
ridiculous.
The couches sold out, bro. You gotta go get it on StockX.
Exactly.
That's when you know. So it's a huge resale bubble.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gonna pop because people just don't want to pay that much money for things that we don't think should be resellable.
Yeah.
We're going to reach that wall where we're like, no, like these things shouldn't be resellable.
I should be able to go into the store and buy
I should just get
a game console.
Yes.
Or I should be able to go even shoes. It's
going to reach a point where people are like, if I want this, I should just be able to get it at normal price.
I agree. I think what I think is there couldn't have been a better note to end episode number 178 with. Tim came down, got on the pod. It was a great episode. You're always welcome to come back on the podcast whenever you want. Even when you out at school, you can always call in. I got the Zoom link right here. Bang, you can call. There's the number. I can send it to you. I got your number. Perfect. And you can call in the podcast whenever you want. It's been great having you on. You could give the people all your socials or something if you want to.
Man, I'm good.
You're staying low key. Staying low key.
All I got to plug, if you want to follow me on IG, it's at TWII20.
There
That's
it is.
really all I got. If you want to talk or, I like to post stuff on my story, stay connected with stuff like this.
There you go.
Like to get involved with music and other stuff like that. So,
okay.
That's all I got.
So, if you made it this far, shout out to you for listening. Shout out to us for keeping you entertained. Episode number 178 of the Left Hand Labs podcast. You can follow the shop as well as the podcast on all social media at Shop Heirlooms, ShopHeirlooms. We didn't do the sponsors, so let's do the sponsors now. I got to get in my sponsor voice. I get close like this. Money. This podcast is sponsored by Shop Heirlooms, Premier Vintage Goods and Memorabilia. You can follow the shop as well as the podcast, as I just stated, on all social media at Shop Heirlooms, at ShopHeirlooms. Come down to the shop. It's a new year. It's time to get some new wave. I know you got Zoom classes starting up soon at your college, and I know you want to look nice because you see the apple of your eye in your Zoom window when you're in class. So come down to the shop or go hit the website, www.shopheirlooms.store. Next day shipping on every order, unless you order on Saturday. Post office closed on Sunday, so you got to wait till Monday. And you can get you some new wave. And I think that's it. We made it. Hour 30. Got a long episode for y'all. Uploading now. Make sure y'all rate and review on the iTunes podcast app. It's free. Doesn't cost you a thing. Subscribe to the YouTube. Shop Heirlooms on YouTube. And like the video. Subscribe to the YouTube. All that kind of stuff. Till next week, we're out of here. Eyes open. Episode 178. We out.
Peace.
There it is.